Okay, hello everyone. I'm just going to show you quickly how to use uh, Immerse VR, the bespoke editing platform that we're going to be using this semester as part of our workflow, and the one that allows us to install hotspots and to also get our videos onto the headsets for the final viewing and assessment as well. So you'll see in week 7 in the Immerse week, down the bottom, so there's the video, so you can watch this whenever you like. And you'll see here, depending if you've got a Mac or a PC, you can download the version of the editor that you need and put it on your own devices, because these aren't on the university machines at present. Okay, so once you've downloaded that, and for people with a Mac, sometimes you've got to allow it because it's from an outside producer and these sorts of things. Takes all of 30 seconds, but just be aware of that. Okay, we'll see that that's in my desktop view, and here it is. And what we're going to do is open a new project, okay? And we need to fill in all these details with as much information as possible, because this is what the viewer is going to see in the headset when they're looking at it. So I'll call it, Ben VR test 1. Description, this is the first test. So here you might say this is a story about the best beaches in South Australia, or this is a dramatisation of, I'm not sure, a local basketball game, or a witch's coven, or whatever it might be. Okay, we can select that location later. That's just where we want it to save. So again, we can do that later, which file you want it to be on, because basically what that's going to end up being is the file that we drag across through SideQuest into the headset. Okay. Maybe I do need to set that location. That's okay. I'm just going to put it on my desktop. Save. There we go. There we go. Okay. And so this is where we start to develop some of the details. This again is on the left here. You'll see this is the information that the viewer is going to see when they put the headset on. Ben test 1, Ben description, test 1. Okay, and this is the name of our story. Okay, whatever we want to call it, VR storytelling, an example, and again, Ben Stubbs. There we go. You need a cover image, so every time you need to select a cover image, let's hope I've got something downloadable that I can use, and again, that's the tile that the viewer is going to see. Okay, that'll do. And there I've got a cover there. And here we can choose as well, if we want a soundtrack, as it says there in the bottom, this can be something that runs through the duration of your entire story. So that could be ambient sound of the forest or something like that, or it could be a particular type of music that you want to go across the entire piece. You can choose the volume, you can select the audio, and that's how we do it. Okay, and then we start adding scenes. My advice with adding scenes is to make it as clear as possible. So I just do scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, etc. But otherwise you can do, forest, city, beach, those sorts of things. Just make it as clear as possible so that when you start playing around with a non-linear structure, things are as easy as possible for you. Okay. And you'll see on our course page I've got a series of dummy clips that you can use to start to play around with this. And so here we go. This is the first scene that I've got in there. You can see that automatically it's in an equi-rectangular format, which allows us to basically see the unwrapped 360 version. You can mess around with that and you can have a look at the 2D version, the 360 version. Here we go. You can see that there. I prefer this because you can see the entire screen. You can also toggle the hotspots that you've got there as well. So here we go. This is scene 1. Do we want to use that soundtrack that I selected before? If not, you can also add new audio here if you want there to be different ambient sound or a voiceover or something like that. So there's quite a lot of accessibility that you can do. Here again, we've got our scrubber, so that's where we can go across our story. We can also amend the start time as well. It's automatically got a soft fade in and fade out, but you can adjust it like that if you like, and then you can play.
Hi, I'm Jerry Webb. I'm a potter who draws things on pots. I'm a surfer, and I'm a 60-year-old who's still interested in pop music.
Okay, there we go. We can see that. So I might be happy with that, with what it's going to do. One of the things that Immerse VR allows us to do is add hotspots, and so that's where it's not only just about the linear nature of the stories or not, but it's also about adding these teleportation and further information points. And over here you'll see add hotspot. We click on that and it brings up a hotspot for us, and we can physically click on it and put it over here, and we can see it's added another line there as well. So if we want that to come in after, say, 10 seconds and leave 10 seconds before the end of the scene, we can amend it like that. And then we're going to want to go in and edit it. With our hotspot, do we want it to, again, when the person hovers over it, and it's not going to look like that in the final viewer, it's going to be a kind of a shimmering, pulsing thing that the person will see. When they look on it or click on it, we can choose if it's autoplay. Do you want some text to come up? So that could be, okay, especially in a non-fiction setting, do you want that to be more information? Do you want an image, a static image to come up? Do you want some audio to come up? So again, it could be a sound effect, a special effect. It could be a voiceover, something like that to add more texture and information to it. Or do you want it to be a link? So that's where it would link to another scene, okay? So we can choose all of those options. Obviously, I can't link to another scene yet because I haven't put any more in. So I'm going to change the hotspot name to, let's call it go to next scene. So you can put it on a door and things like that, and you could say, open the door. Do you want to see like that? You can amend the font size, the label color, which, I might make it red or something like that. Label background, we can do that, and then our link options there as well. And so we'll do more of that in a moment. So that's what the hotspot's going to look like once it's activated. It doesn't look quite that rudimentary. Yeah, there we go. That's just our placeholder. It will look nicer than that in the actual app. So then what I'm going to do, so with this scene as well, this is where structure becomes interesting. You can construct a linear story, or you can create one that's more like a branching story where your first scene is kind of like a tree trunk, and then you have other story strands going out from there. A choose your own adventure, if you will. So with that first scene, if this is the one I want to be my first scene, do I want no action, so it just stops? Do I want it to keep looping so that the person can watch it again and again and make different decisions? Do I want it to automatically go to what I name scene 2? Or do I want it to return to the origin, which is the, out of the story once we've watched that? Okay, so I'm going to choose loop for the moment. All right, and I'm happy with that. Okay, now I'm going to go back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that this is our primary scene, confirm, and then I'm going to add another scene, and I'm going to call this scene 2. Okay, let's go to downloads again. And here we go, now I've got my second scene in there as well. Same sort of thing. So now, again, you can check the length, you can check when we come in and out, you can, again, toggle the hotspots or not, you can look at it in 360, and you can pan around with that as well. You can look at it in the equirectangular. I'm going to add a hotspot here again, and this is where we start to see, and this is where, again, this equirectangular view is really useful because you can see its placement. You can also see what it looks like in terms of the colouring of your scene. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to edit, and rather than text, now I want to go to a link. So I don't want it to be autoplay, I want the person to have the choice. Okay, let's say go to art gallery. And here, again, I want it to link to scene 1. And so that's what's going to happen. So here, all of a sudden, when the person's watching that, they have the choice to go to scene 1. And you can see how, the more scenes you've got in there, the more complex you can be. So after this, do I want it to loop like the other one? Do I want it to go to do I want it to automatically go to scene 1 like I'm choosing there? Okay, and this is what I can choose again. And then we go back, and then I'm going to add another scene and call it scene 3. We can also see here from what I'm showing you the importance of using the Insta360 Studio and potentially Premiere Pro to just add, even though you can add text with the hotspots and things like that, there is a little bit more nuance available with some of the options in Premiere Pro. And also, if you want to color grade and things like that, do that beforehand, and you come into Immerse with your 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, scenes that are the kind of the duration and the content that you want, and then you can add those layers of VR immersion with Immerse. Okay. And then let's go clip 3, create, and here we've got, again, we've spoken about proximity and scale. This is an interesting scene because this was filmed inside someone's car, and so it made the viewer feel very claustrophobic. That being the point of the exercise. You can see there how the viewer feels kind of locked in, and that's what they wanted. It was a story about homelessness in South Australia. Okay, so we're going to add 2 hotspots this time. Here we go, I'll place them so they're easily viewable. The first one, again, link, and let's call it go to art gallery, link to scene 1. There we go. And I can then click on this one, link again, and I'm going to call this one go to the boat, because that was our other scene. And here we can see I link now to scene 2. And if I want to see what that looks like, there, like that. And again, with scene 3, do I want it to loop? Do I want it to return to origin? What would I like to do? And this is where, again, you can, in Photoshop or whatever you like, you can create specific title screen. It might just be a black screen or something like that. You can also do rudimentary titles with the text option in this. You've got lots of options, but the point being that start playing around with this early, so that the kind of the journey through the experience, the story, is as you want it to be. Especially if you're playing around with a non-linear notion where you're giving the viewer that sense of choice, which I highly encourage too. There we go. Okay. And now we can see that we've got essentially the kind of the rundown of our scenes. Scene 1, Scene 2, Scene 3, hotspot counts. We can go in, we can edit it. If we're not happy with what we've done, we can bin them like this. We can change the primary scene. Like I said, if we decide we want a kind of a binding or unifying audio over the top, we can do that from here. And then we export it, okay? We can export it as a project file, which means that we might want to come back later to it, and so that will just save it as a file on our desktop or in our hard drive, whatever, to use later, and then we can export it to VR. So that's where it's going to save it as a file that we will do much later in the semester. That's something that myself and the tutors will help you with in terms of side-loading it onto the headsets for final viewing and for assessment and hopefully for exhibitions as well. And then again, here we can save, close, and exit. Okay, so I'm going to save that, save project. And that is pretty much that. We can see there that, again, it seems quite simple, and it's about taking on board all of the ideas that we've had a look at throughout the course to create an immersive and engaging story that answers those questions around motivation, action, and reward. Please reach out if you have any questions. Grace and Patrick can put you in touch with me, and if not, good luck, and I look forward to watching your stories later on.